Hey everyone, Gill Gross here post-match. Daniil Medvedev versus Stefanos Tsitsipas in the 2021 Australian Open semifinal. If you're not here for spoilers, click off the video in 3, 2, 1. Very straightforward for the Russian Daniil Medvedev. He advances to his second career major final with a straight set victory over Stefanos Tsitsipas, who he now holds a 6-1 head-to-head advantage over. Final scoreline 6-4, 6-2, 7-5. The 4 seed is through. He will face Novak Djokovic in the final. I will have a preview for that match shortly after I dig in, do a little bit more research and preparation for that one. So make sure if you're not subscribed to the channel, you do that. If you are a Twitter user, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Gill_Gross is the handle. And if you're a podcast listener, make sure you subscribe to Monday Match Analysis. I have a couple of points to make here about why this matchup is a big problem for Tsitsipas on this surface, why Medvedev can get through this matchup pretty comfortably on a surface this quick. And then in the end, I'll kind of get to what this means overall for Tsitsipas and how I'm looking at this holistically when it comes to what this tournament means for his career. But for now, just a couple of major problems for Tsitsipas in this match and major advantages for Medvedev. And I think that starts with the serve. Remember, this is a quick surface, so the serve is going to be important. And there's such a massive gap here. I believe for Tsitsipas to close the gap in this matchup on a surface like this, he needs to close this gap in serve and return effectiveness. I'll just kind of begin by throwing some numbers out here. Aces were 17-3 Medvedev. Medvedev won 88% of his first serve points. Tsitsipas won 69%, which is not a horrible number, but 88% from Tsitsipas's perspective is a horrible number. It's really hard to break serve like this. That goes without saying. Medvedev got 68% in the box as well. So you have first serve domination by Medvedev here. He played 56 service points on his first serve, Daniil, and only saw 23 returned in play. So it wasn't even close on the other end, right? Tsitsipas played 70 service points in the first serve and saw 48 come back into play. And you can make an argument that while Medvedev has this kind of excellent and I would say elite serve, he's not quite as good as some others behind it, doing damage on that first ball. But when conditions are this quick, he's good enough to do damage if you don't get a good return back into the court. And then on the Medvedev return, he is such a serve +1 slayer right now. Back-to-back matches here. He plays Andrei Rublev and Stefanos Tsitsipas, two players with elite serve +1 games. Unbelievable first strike players. They don't have unbelievable out-of-this-world overpowering serves. But if you look at their numbers behind their first serve, it's excellent. They win first serve points at a tremendous percentage because of what they do behind their first serves with two of the best forehands in the sport. And in combination, first serve forehand, they're able to generate such a consistent advantage early in their service points and makes them very difficult to break. But Medvedev now back-to-back has neutralized that with his 6'6" frame, his deep return position, his pace absorption, and his incredible depth that he gets on his return. Back-to-back players with elite serve +1s, Medvedev neutralizes it. I believe that he is returning equal to anyone in the world at the moment. So, again, that's going to be very difficult for Tsitsipas to overcome. And Medvedev, in large part, if he's going to have that big an advantage on serve, he's going to roll. He's going to roll for the most part. But he also found a great baseline dynamic. So it was that's why it was such a comprehensive and straightforward victory for Medvedev. And I will talk about a short portion in the third set where Tsitsipas had success, and I will address that after I'm done here. I will get to that, but mainly this was a bad backhand performance from Stefanos, and Medvedev is particularly exceptional at finding the Stefanos Tsitsipas backhand and attacking it and bothering it. Exceptional at that. So first, let's just address getting to the backhand, which is difficult to do, especially when Tsitsipas is dictating a rally. It's hard to get it to his backhand because he's got great footwork. He turns backhands into forehands. He has a dynamic offensive game, and it can be difficult to find his backhand. But Medvedev does it with ease. Why? Because, first of all, he can play the riskier directional on his forehand, which is the forehand down the line, higher part of the net, less court to work with. He can execute that trade, that change of direction, and he can do it without seemingly accepting as much risk as most players would accept there. And that's because he's a tremendous redirector of the ball. So he can do that with his forehand. He can take it down the line. He did that often, early and often. And then on his backhand, he is unbelievably precise. It's an elite backhand in the sport. And I find that he is able to, with his depth, with his precision, he's able to put the ball in a place in the court when he goes cross court on the backhand where Tsitsipas really can't run around it very often or at all. And then if Tsitsipas cheats, if he cheats to his left to search for that runaround forehand, well, Medvedev is going to threaten with that backhand down the line. He's going to keep Tsitsipas honest with that backhand down the line. So all in all, he's so precise off the ground, and he does it error-free. Some players might press. Some players might look for the Tsitsipas backhand with the threat of his runaround and hit to a tiny margin in the backhand corner of the court. And a lot of players might miss a lot, hitting to that small target, desperate to find that Tsitsipas backhand. Medvedev can hit to that tiny target error-free, right? So that's how he finds the backhand more often. But then, what went wrong here? Why couldn't Tsitsipas protect his backhand? Because it was very interesting. 1 day removed from protecting his backhand, better than I've ever seen him do it, against the ultimate backhand slayer, Rafael Nadal. 1 day removed after doing that, Tsitsipas looked lost on his backhand wing. Absolutely lost. I'll get you the stats here. He hit 16 unforced errors on his backhand. He hit one error. One winner. So he hit 16 unforced to one winner. That one winner was in the third set. Passing shots don't count. I just want to give a heads up for that because I find that strange. But the Infosys doesn't score a passing shot as a winner, as a ground stroke winner rather. He only forced 3 errors off that wing. So he forced 3 errors. He hit one winner. He made 16 unforced errors. Set 1 and set 2, he did 0 damage, 0 forced errors, 0 winners. Basically, it was a safety blanket for Medvedev. If Medvedev found the Tsitsipas backhand, Stefanos wasn't able to hurt Daniil at all. So it was interesting that there was such a contrast there. And that not only was it misfiring, but it wasn't doing any damage. Well, you know, Medvedev's ball and Nadal's ball couldn't be really any different. And on this surface, I would think that Medvedev's ball takes more time away, rushes him more on that side. It skids along the court. It stays very low, which most one-handers like, but I'm not sure Tsitsipas likes that. I think Stefanos is a little bit taller than Federer and Stan. and some of the other one-handers we've seen, and I actually don't think he loves going down and getting it. He does not have a viable slice backhand, and we know that that is a great play against Medvedev. Maybe I'm being too harsh when I don't say it's not viable. I would say it is viable. It's just not good enough to really win him points on a consistent basis, and he really can't lean on it. It's just not good enough. And it's a great play against Medvedev, and that's how players combat Medvedev on the backhand-to-backhand pattern. That's how they do it. There's no other way to really do it for most players. Djokovic can go, toe-to-toe, and Zverev can go toe-to-toe maybe, but most other players have to just be like, oh, I can't hang here, so I better slice because I can't hang. And Tsitsipas really can't go to that. So that's part of it. But then I just think the ball staying low, skidding through the court, taking a little bit more time away. Clearly that was a more difficult ball to handle on this surface than Nadal's heavy, loopier topspin forehand. Clearly, because it was a night and day difference. Finding the backhand, rendering ineffectiveness out of the Tsitsipas backhand. And then the last point I want to make is passing shots. Medvedev's passing shots. I was unbelievably impressed by his passing shots in this match, especially on the backhand side. Stefanos only approached the Medvedev backhand, you'll notice. He never approached the forehand. And I thought that was a little bit questionable just based on how much feel Medvedev had on the backhand passing shot. Normally, I'd say that's okay. And that's sometimes even, smart against Medvedev because it's such a flat shot. But Daniil has developed a really good feel for his dipping passing shot. And he really, earlier in his career, 2 years ago when he was just coming onto the scene, I thought he really struggled with that shot. And I think sometimes players came to net and always got easy volleys against Medvedev. And now he's developed, despite his flatter hitting, he's developed, an ability, I think, to kind of roll over the ball. It's not heavy topspin, but it's topspin more than usual, and that allows him to find that cross-court angle. And then he also just has great touchy feel on the backhand where he actually can slow down his racket speed and use his deceleration as a way to dip the ball down low when the other player approaches his backhand. Well, it really came up big for him at 5-all in the third set when Tsitsipas was making really a surge and looking like he might turn around the match just like he did against Rafa Nadal in the round prior. And Medvedev hits 3 beautiful passing shots in this game. One was a return, but one was at love all, a beautiful cross-court dipping pass on the backhand. The return was at love 15 and got it to Tsitsipas' shoelaces on that one as well. And then at 15-40, one of the best shots in the tournament probably, Medvedev on the dead run in the corner on the ad side, and he just digs the ball right off the court surface and hits it down the line for a winner. And that was it for the match. He served it out after that. So, serving advantage, attacking the Tsitsipas backhand more effectively than most players on tour are able to. And I want to stress that. I want to always stress that because it's not as simple as, just hit to Tsitsipas's backhand. What a brilliant game plan. We must be all geniuses. It's not really like that. It's, do you have the skills and the attributes to actually do it? So I just like to stress that. So keep that in mind. It's that Medvedev can do it. It's not that he's a genius for figuring it out. It's that he can do it, right? And the passing shots are the third thing. When Tsitsipas did have a surge in this match, it was in the third set. And I was probably more impressed with Medvedev being able to quell that momentum. I'm more impressed with that than if he just rolled through it easily. And if he, had a straightforward 3-set win. But no, he turned it around. There was a portion of the match where Tsitsipas did use a distinct advantage that he does have, which is that he has really good court coverage and some pretty good slice defense. And he forced Medvedev to create his own offense from the middle of the court on low-pace balls, and for a period of time there, had some success because Medvedev made some errors there. And also there was a disruption where Medvedev got frustrated with Tsitsipas for not being ready to return when Medvedev was at the baseline ready to serve. So a little funny business there. But Medvedev certainly lost his focus for a second there, and Tsitsipas had a lot of momentum, and the crowd got behind him. And great job by Daniil. And sorry if I got my names confused there. I meant Tsitsipas had the momentum there. A great job by Daniil to turn that around with that lovely 5-all return game with all the passing shots. And that did it. I would say for conclusions, well, okay, let me, before I do conclusions, Tsitsipas, was he drained here? Was there a lack of energy? I think probably a little bit, but I'm just not convinced that that made the difference here. I think that there are real significant matchup problems, and I think that I do not think he was as tired, so to speak, as maybe, again, we're all listening to different commentary, whether you have the world feed or the American feed or another feed. I would say for the American feed, I don't quite attribute it as much to Tsitsipas being tired as they did. I really just think there are issues here on this court surface. I think that when this matchup is played on clay, just hear me out here, you have the serve discrepancy, the serve return discrepancy, that is pretty much erased when you get a slow surface. And now you're getting into baseline rallies. And then Tsitsipas's forehand prowess is accentuated, and that becomes a huge advantage over Medvedev because he's able to hit through the court and generate the pace, and Medvedev has much more trouble generating offense. So I expect this to be a very surface-dependent matchup as long as nothing changes here. And I think Tsitsipas's serve can get better, and his backhand can get better. And I think Medvedev can get stronger, and his forehand can get better. But as things stand right now, I think this is a terrible matchup for Tsitsipas on this kind of court, and I don't attribute it as much to energy. If I'll close here. This was still a very positive tournament for Stefanos Tsitsipas. I think that it had been a while since, obviously, it had been since AO 2019, since he had a win over a member of the Big Three, and I think those wins are very, very important for this younger crop. He, it's another semifinal. It's more experience there, and I think he probably did learn a lot about where he needs to be in order to close this gap that exists. Knowing Tsitsipas, a cerebral guy, he will analyze his shortcomings in this matchup, and I think he will work to fix them. And it's going to take some time, and he's not going to be there, quickly. But I think, again, I think that mentally he was pretty good all tournament long. I saw lots of good things for him, and I think that he will take the Nadal win and use that moving forward. My only bone to pick is that he didn't have to lead in that match. Never had to lead. And then he never had to lead in this match either. Other than that, I think it's a very successful Australian Open for Tsitsipas. Back-to-back major semifinals is nothing to sneeze at, and let's see if he can continue that at what should be his best major, the French Open. And let's see how he does also over the slow hard court and the clay swing. So Tsitsipas is in a good place. Again, a final preview. Djokovic, Medvedev, can't wait. It is a mouth-watering final we have in Melbourne, and I'll have your preview coming up soon. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.